Welcome back to Comparison World Facts. Today we're going to be explaining everything you need to know about the China-Taiwan conflict. Did you know that Taiwan's independence has been an issue for many decades for China? Keep watching closely for everything you need to know. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content just like this. The conflict between China and Taiwan has not always been quite as tense as it is today. In fact, during the early years of Taiwanese independence and before the KMT had retreated to China, relations between the two sides were relatively peaceful. However, this peace was broken by the Communist Party of China in 1949, and that same year, Taiwan formally declared its independence from mainland China under the Nationalist Party. This separation led to tensions between both Chinas as mainland China retaliated by taking military action against Taiwan. The result? A war that lasted several years and almost cut off mainland China from its satellites in Southeast Asia. If you want to get a more detailed look into what's going on, keep watching. First, what is the Taiwan conflict? This conflict is between the People's Republic of China and the Republic of China, Taiwan. The conflict is not one between two nations, but rather a struggle for political control of a single island of about 32 kilometers by 22 kilometers in size. This island is called Taiwan. The People's Republic of China, PRC, claims that Taiwan is part of China, while the Republic of China, commonly known as Taiwan, claims all of China as its own territory. It's important to note that this conflict has nothing to do with the Chinese government's hatred towards all things Western. Instead, the conflict stems from the desire of the Communist Party of China, CPC, to control all of China by force. China and Taiwan have been locked in a decades-long conflict over the latter's status as an independent country. Taiwan used to be part of China until it won its independence in 1949. At this point, the Chinese Communist Party saw an opportunity to keep control of the island if it had its own separate country on which the CPC could set up its headquarters. However, that didn't go so well, as China had no experience running a sovereign state, and under Mao Zedong's rule, this new country was not allowed to have its armed forces or foreign policy. This meant that Taiwan had almost no say over what happened with it. This conflict has been simmering since then, with periodic flare-ups, most recently because of President Xi Jinping's One Belt, One Road initiative, where he's trying to integrate China more closely with other countries via trade and security pacts. Up next, why is China trying to claim Taiwan? China's reason for trying to reclaim Taiwan is political. First, China believes that the island is rightfully Chinese. This stems from the long history of Chinese control of Taiwan, which includes many of the island's original settlers, as well as centuries of cultural influence. Second, Taiwan is strategically important to China because it gives China a second military force in the region, which allows China to protect power and defend its interests in the same way that the United States currently defends Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines. Third, China believes that the island has many natural resources, which China could exploit if Taiwan were under Chinese control. So, what else has happened to cause this conflict? The Chinese Civil War of the 1940s led to a communist victory in China. This gave the CPC a lot of strength and successfully attacked the nationalist ROC government led by Chiang Kai-shek. The government ended with a ceasefire agreement in 1952, but this did not mean permanent peace between the two sides. The Republic of China, ROC, claimed to be the legitimate government of all of China, and the CPC still viewed Taiwan as part of China. The United States was also very interested in both sides in the conflict. The US wanted to stop the spread of communism in the region and saw both sides in the Taiwan crisis as proxies for the Soviet Union. The US therefore decided to side with the ROC because it believed that Taiwan was part of China and was, therefore, Chinese territory. Up next, what is the current status of the conflict? Since the end of the Cold War, China has been trying to expand its influence across the world. One of the ways that it has been doing this is by attempting to integrate smaller countries into a trading bloc that would assist in moving goods across different countries more easily. Countries like Turkey, Iran, and even India are part of this initiative. As part of this, China has been trying to get other countries to agree to a One Belt, One Road initiative, which aims to link China with some of the world's biggest economies, such as Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. However, China's attempts to integrate with other countries have led to conflict in many parts of the world, as people in those countries do not want to become more closely linked to China. In recent years, China has become more militarized and aggressive in its actions. For example, it has been deploying military ships in the East and South China Seas, which are international waters. That has led to conflict with other countries such as Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines. So, what are the consequences of China's Taiwan strategy? China's One Belt, One Road initiative has failed. The countries that it tried to connect have not become any more economically prosperous because of this. These countries have also found that the new trade ties allowed them to be much more closely controlled by China. This has included the outright theft of intellectual property and the forced transfer of large amounts of capital to China. China has also failed as a military power as it has been incapable of defending its people from becoming the victims of many horrible incidents. Are there any solutions to prevent further escalation of conflict? There are several steps that the Chinese government can take to prevent further escalation of the Taiwan conflict. The first of these is to ensure that the Chinese government understands that although it may desire to reclaim Taiwan, it will not be able to do this. The second step is to ensure that Taiwan continues to have a role as an independent state, which is a long-term solution to the conflict. Finally, the third step is to allow Taiwan to modernize its military, which would help it to defend itself against further Chinese aggression. So, what role has the United States played in the China-Taiwan conflict? The United States has played a crucial role in the Taiwan conflict. First, the US has tried to prevent war between China and Taiwan by claiming that the island is part of China. This has been the official US position since the end of the Second World War. Secondly, the US has provided Taiwan with weapons and military support to deter further Chinese aggression. Lastly, the US has also tried to help Taiwan to modernize its military so that it could defend itself against further Chinese aggression. So what caused the China-Taiwan conflict? The CPC is currently led by President Xi Jinping, who has a long-standing desire to transform China into a stronger, more powerful nation. The problem is that this transformation is happening when the CPC no longer has any experience running a sovereign state. This means that it will be much more likely to make mistakes, which could lead to China being a weaker, less effective country. Up next, what is the legality of the China-Taiwan conflict? The legality of the conflict between China and Taiwan is a complex topic with several different aspects. First, it's essential to note that the People's Republic of China is an illegitimate state. Second, Taiwan is the only country currently using force to resist the CPC. This means that under international law, it is entitled to defend itself against Chinese aggression. Third, it is essential to note that Taiwan is not a country. This means that it is not currently authorized to any territories in Asia. Lastly, what is the key takeaway of the Taiwan conflict? The Taiwan conflict is a long-term struggle for political control of a single island. China wants to reclaim Taiwan, but this is a military struggle and will not be successful due to the relatively small size of the island and the strength of Taiwan's military force. China's attempt to reclaim Taiwan will lead to a war and could result in China being a weaker, less effective country. And there you have it, everything you need to know about the China-Taiwan conflict. Hopefully, both sides can avoid conflict. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.